So I put out on YouTube and Instagram for you to give me your hot takes, and I only had a couple on YouTube, to be fair, but I had a few on Instagram, and there were some really interesting ones. Like, we're kind of gonna do what the Anthony Fantano kind of shit is, like, you man give me your hot takes and I give you my opinions based on that. Yeah, I kind of stole the idea, but you know what, I still think it'll make a good video. First one, Husky isn't that good. UK hip-hop is better than Aussie hip-hop. Kind of. Okay, Husky isn't that good. I definitely disagree with that part. Like, Husky is amazing. Husky is arguably top 5 in Australia, in my opinion. Like, yeah, let's leave the Husky part alone. Like, in my opinion, I don't think Husky's overrated. I don't think he's overappreciated. I think he is properly rated as and where he should be. As for the part that says UK hip-hop is better than Aussie hip-hop, can I change that statement to US hip-hop is better than Aussie hip-hop? But under the umbrella of hip-hop, there's a lot of subgenres. So if we're talking drill, yes, UK drill is better than Aussie hip-hop. But then if we're talking like boom bap shit, I say Aussie. In terms of who's currently making it, I'd put Australia there. I don't know. That's such a broad statement that I can't just give such a broad answer. So I'm just gonna say nope. I'm just gonna deny this one. I just don't see... I can't put up a good enough argument for either or. It's just such a broad topic. I would need more context. But if you must get an answer, I'll put it like this. UK hip-hop culture is more known as grime culture here, but like UK culture is a lot further ahead than Aussie has, and whether you perceive that as a good or bad thing is up to you. Spanian is still underrated. Like, it depends, because I know a lot of people like love what Spanion's doing, and I think that's more so him as a personality and how he carries himself and kind of the wisdom and knowledge that he kicks on social media. As for his music, I feel like his music has jumped dramatically in recent times. So, of course, people are gonna be adapting to that, and then that takes time for people to come round, perhaps, especially if you established yourself before for one thing, and if people didn't like that then, you've now grown and progressed or adapted your sound. It's not like you put out one new song that people like and then that's the thing that just turns everyone on your side. So when it's underrated, as a musician, maybe. As a personality, definitely not. I think Spanian is properly rated. Aussie drill isn't a real thing. I massively disagree with you. The first few Aussie drill tracks that I heard, yes, I would say that wasn't really Aussie drill. It was just a copy of UK drill for the most part. And we gotta be careful of what we define as drill, because I'm hearing certain tracks that are like this tropical Afro swing or perhaps even trap music and people are calling it drill. I don't quite think they're the same thing. So it depends what we define as drill. Now, when I'm hearing drill now, I'm hearing Aussie drill that is inspired by other Aussie drill. So I'd say that it's his own thing by now. Has it had crazy longevity and has it had deep rooted creativity? No, not really. We're in our first generation of it, to be fair, because it has stemmed from UK drill, and then UK drill is kind of in its like second phase maybe, and that's stemmed from Chicago drill. So it's quite a new genre when we're talking about Australia anyway. So yeah, it is a real thing. It's just not deep rooted and been about for decades. Unless somebody wants to prove me wrong and tell me that their brethren did something in 1985, I don't know. I'm going to replace that word and I'm just going to say Aussies are fickle supporters of the artists they follow. They only care when they're popping. I'm going to sit in the middle about this one. And I'm going to then furthermore replace just not Aussies, just people are fickle supporters of the artists they follow now. Some people are, yes, because some people pretend to love the culture and follow the culture and they don't necessarily do so. And that's fine. Just you may say that they shouldn't be saying that they love the scene and they follow everything deep-rootedly, because they don't. I think people can be fickle supporters. We can become prisoner of the moment, you know. A new artist blows and we're like, yo, my man is the guy right now and he's gonna become the next big thing, etc, etc, and then they don't release nothing for 2 years and we kind of slowly forget about them. Like, yes, that happens. sports fans are exactly the same. When your team wins, it's like, yeah, look what we're going to do. We're going to win the title. And then you lose the game and it's like, look how many deep-rooted things I've been telling you about. I told you we're never going to win the league. And I think people that are supporters of anything can be like that. Does that mean everyone's like that? Definitely not. There's people that I root for no matter what. Like, there's artists that I've openly documented me saying like, why do they not have more views? I don't care how many views or how much attention they bring. I'm still going to check it anyway. And then likewise, you know, there's sometimes where an artist is hugely successful in the short term and, you know, everyone's on their wave. But then once they can't recreate that success, you see the support die off pretty quickly. And so I think some people are fans of moments rather than they are the artist themselves. You may even be a fan of the song and just not necessarily the artist and their whole entire catalog. And that's okay. I just think that people don't necessarily say that because they want to be the guy who knew them from back in the day. Like, listen, I had 250 subscribers when Chill and Wombat shared my first reaction, yeah? I've had more than 250 people, so it feels like anyway, say, I've been there from the start. And it's just like, I appreciate the sentiment, but I know that not all of you have. And if you have, thank you. And if you haven't and you only subscribed last week, that's perfectly fine. Like, just say it. As much as grime is where my heart lies within music nowadays, I've not been following grime for very long. I've only followed it like 6 or 7 years, like truthfully followed it like 6-7 years. I can't sit here and pretend I've been following it since 5 years old. I started really diving deep into it like 2016. Yeah, I heard it when I was younger, but I can't really say that I was there. I just heard a few things. I can't sit there and go, yeah, and I was watching My Man for over a decade. No, not really, because I've not really been following grime for longer than a decade. The only like grime artist you could say like that is maybe Chip and Skepta, and even then their entire catalog isn't grime. So yeah, that's coming away from that point, but coming back to the point we're talking about, yes, some people only care when people are popping, and that's because they enjoy moments rather than the artists themselves, and that's okay. 1-4 are the goats of drill. Why does everything today feel like a maybe kind of? Okay, let's get a bit more specific here. 1-4 are not the goats of drill. They are not. Are they the goats of Australian drill at the moment? Yes, like people throw around the word GOAT very lightly nowadays. GOAT standing for greatest of all time. They are not the greatest of all time worldwide. They are not. And I think even they would admit that themselves. Could they work towards that? Entirely possible. Could you argue that there is a ceiling set by being from Australia? Yes, but I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the optimistic guy. So even let's say they could, I will still say right now that they are not there now. I don't think you could be the GOAT of anything within like 3 years. I just don't think it's possible. Now, within saying that, have they been the biggest part of like Australian drill history? Yes, of course. And even Australian hip hop as a whole, they are often thrown in that conversation very quickly. Do I believe it's too soon to be? Not necessarily, but do I think it's too soon for them to be titled as number one? Yes. I think the impact that they've had, they have to at least carry it at the same rate it's at now, if not more, for them to be labelled as that in the future. Australia has better grime MCs than UK grime MCs. Nah, I'm gonna deny that one. Don't get me wrong, I love some of the MCs from Australia. I absolutely love them, and you know I'll show love and support every time when I think I've found a dope artist or MC. But there's levels to this shit. And I think even some of the top Aussie MCs would admit that also. I won't name names from Australia or even New Zealand, but listen, we've got Gets. Listen, we've got Chip. Listen, we've got Kano. I could keep going, but just... So yeah, that's all I really wanted to do with this video today. Like, it doesn't have to be crazy long, but yeah, let me know what you think. But either way, thank you for watching the video. If you want me to do something like this in the future, leave your hot takes down below, and just try and think about it maybe, because I will shut it down if you're talking a whole load of shit.